Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem. Jane coming to you with some breaking news out of Israel. Yet another horrific terror attack in the Holy Land. 2 people have been brutally murdered in a terror attack in the northern part of Israel. A terrorist in a hit and run murdered a 68-year-old man. He then fled the scene and collided with another vehicle, injuring a young man. He then continued, and at a bus stop he got out of his vehicle and he stabbed and brutally murdered a 20-year-old woman who apparently was hitchhiking to get a ride home for Shabbat. He then continued to flee until he was apprehended by security forces and has been arrested. So 2 people, a 20-year-old female brutally stabbed to death and a 68-year-old man brutally murdered as he was rammed down by a vehicle by this Palestinian terrorist. How many times have I had to share a news update like this? And this comes as it's Friday. We are all out shopping. I was out shopping, doing the last bit of shopping for Shabbat. People are cooking, they're cleaning, and they're getting ready to come home and celebrate Shabbat, including this 20-year-old female and this 60-year-old man who was brutally murdered today. And now these families are getting the phone call or the knock on the door that everybody is dreading. We regret to inform you that your beloved was just brutally murdered in a terror attack, yet another terror attack in Israel, murdered for no other reason than being Jewish. So right now, this literally just happened less than 30 minutes ago. So we don't know the identity of those 2 Jews, those 2 victims who were brutally murdered. But I'm sending my deepest condolences to their families. It never stops. It just never stops with these horrific terror attacks here in Israel by these evil terrorists out of their bloodthirst for dead Jews. So again, 2 people brutally murdered, 1 stabbed to death, a young female, and a man rammed to death when this Palestinian terrorist collided with him in this hit and run. So again, I'm sending my deepest condolences to their families. Over the years, I have had to report about so many terror attacks, about so many Jewish grandmothers, grandfathers, babies, children, parents who was murdered for no other reason than being Jewish. And here we are a few hours away from Shabbat. It's almost 2 p.m. here in Israel, and it just happened again. I'm asking you to please share this video, and I'm asking you kindly to please share from my heart. I'm asking you to please share the article I just released on Jerusalem Post, where I'm talking about how I have been reporting for so many years, doing what I'm doing now, speaking to a phone. And now it's time to do more quality products. And now it's time to talk to some of all of the people that I have been reporting about, just like I'm doing now. I hope and pray that I will stir up your hearts and saying we need to hear all of these stories out of Israel that we don't hear in our mainstream medias. Again, 2 families now who has to bury their beloved, murdered for no other reason than being Jews. We have thousands of families sitting like that here in Israel, and I want to share their stories. I want to give them a platform and share their stories. So kindly please read the article that came out on Jerusalem Post, where I'm speaking about my vision and my heart's desire going into 2026 to raise the funds in order to have a podcast studio with equipment and a co-worker, a technician who can do all the practical technical work, so I can produce quality podcasts also on video that we can send out, and you can hear all of these stories. So many families who has lost a loved one brutally murdered in these horrific terror attacks. We also want to talk about the pay for slay when these terrorists, a terrorist is never supposed to survive a terror attack. But when they do, the terrorist from now, the latest I heard was that the terrorist survived this terror attack and he's getting treated now in a hospital. Then he's going to go to prison and then he's going to be funded thousands and thousands of dollars every month because he just murdered 2 Israelis. It's horrific, and your government is taking part of this pay for slay when you are sending money to the corrupt Palestinian Authority. So I want to dive into this pay for slay program and how all of these terrorists are becoming millionaires for murdering Jews, and then hundreds and hundreds of them has been released in prisoner exchange for our hostages to come home. Israel had to release these cold-blooded terrorists. So I want to set focus on that and speak about that and invite experts to come and share about this, because it needs to be shared to the whole world. So these are just some of the things that I would like to do in my upcoming podcast. Interview all of these people so they can come and share their stories, and we can set up a spotlight on the billions of dollars that has been paid over the years, literally salary for murdering Jews. It has to stop. So again, please share out this video. 2 people just brutally murdered now in another terror attack. I'm trying to raise the funds to raise enough money to have a studio with the equipment so we can really share the news out to you that you don't hear in mainstream media. I'm sharing my donation platforms, and again, please share this video. Please share the article where I'm sharing more about all of this, the ideas, the people I want to interview, so it can reach big donors and it can reach people who can do sponsorship with this new upcoming podcast, and also current news updates with experts from intelligence agencies, undercover unit, border police, military, police. Hopefully I will get some good contacts and I can get information from them and interview them, like about the terror attack that just happened now. So we need to raise thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in order to make this vision happening. So I hope it stirs your heart and you say, we need to hear these stories of all the Jews who was brutally murdered. We need to see their name, to faces and their names, and we need to talk to their parents and their siblings, the stories you don't hear in mainstream media. So again, 2 people just brutally murdered in a terror attack. Other people were injured by Palestinian terrorists setting out to murder as many Jews as possible just a few hours before we enter Shabbat here in the Holy Land. Shabbat Shalom. May God comfort the families who's right now brought to the hospital because their 20-year-old daughter sibling was just brutally murdered in a terror attack, and a man 68 years old, husband, father, maybe even a grandfather, these people are now coming together in the hospital to say goodbye to their beloved, just heinously murdered again. So please share this out and help me make this podcast vision become a reality in order to raise a lot of funds so we can get that broadcasting studio and the right equipment so I can invite people in and do quality broadcast and share it out with all of you. Shabbat Shalom.